And once again, people, it's your boy Typo87, aka Carlos Fernandez. Gamer by choice, not by trend. And I'm gonna touch on a little quick topic here. Yeah, as you can read for the title, Fortnite crossplay fiasco and the social wannabe elitist. It has come across to my attention for the past couple of hours after the E3 conference and how everything has concluded that Sony's been catching a lot of flack by a lot of gamers on Twitter and on social media due to the cause for crossplay share. Now, once again, this topic has been roaming around for the past couple of hours, and I'm gonna put something quite clear so that some people may understand what data breach is and the reasons why Sony has not released those game accounts for those purposes. Now, if we can begin, there's a certain thing that you do when you create an account with a gaming platform, right? It's called an email account that is needed for you to carry all your information to that specific program and that specific developer. And you also have your personal information within that email address. Now, mind you, once you save all of that information, including with the data you use from the game, it is linked to your personal information as well. So, in layman's terms, since people are bragging about Sony being anti-consumer to the general public for not releasing these gamer profiles and progressions, they're actually protecting you from actual hackers. See, this is called common sense, but some people just don't know how to use it. Because if I release certain information about a gamer tag, more than likely that gamer tag is linked to an actual email address, and hackers will use that information against you. So think for a second. Instead of just going on a rant calling Sony anti-consumer and all of this hoopla like you guys are doing on the basis, especially some YouTubers, use logic, use common sense. All your transgressional information isn't within your email address, which is linked to that data profile that can actually be used to breach the network service for those companies. But people don't want to use logic. They just want to be irrational and not use the brain in order to process a pattern. Yes, that Sony's wrong for doing its practices for not letting the information be brought out to the general public. Yeah, they're wrong for that. But at the same time, you also have to understand parameters and procedures. It is not a simple thing to just tell Epic, here, have all of these players' ID codes and their email accounts and addresses so that you can actually transfer all the information. Because at any given time, a hacker could be just waiting for that opportune moment to hack into that IP address and take all of that information and use it at free will. But I guess I'm going to catch flack because I'm kind of defending Sony. No, I'm not defending Sony. I'm just basing basic logic. Basic logic that most people have overshadowed for the past couple of hours over this whole Fortnite fiasco. Think about it. Think about it for a minute. Use that information I'm just translating to you guys right now. At any given moment, a hacker could take that information with your game progression, with your email address, which includes whatever credit cards or whatever debit cards that you use, whatever monetary value information that you have at your possession, they can use that against you. But you guys don't think that first. You guys think that is just anti-consumerism, that Sony's being an asshole towards the gamers because they don't want to release data. Of course, it's data. Who the hell wants to release data and get hacked? Do you know the countless and millions of actual profiles that are linked to debit cards within the Epic in the Epic platform, but people don't think about that. I've been hearing and listening to all these podcasters talk about Fortnite, but they haven't pointed out the specific reasons to why Sony's doing what they're doing right now. And it just clicked in my mind just a couple of moments ago after I got off from work. I'm like, wait, these guys are talking about Fortnite, claiming that Sony's anti-consumerism because they don't release actual data progression. There's the key word, data progression. So at any given moment, if Sony decides to release these data progressions with these gamer profiles, a hacker could hack right into Sony's infrastructure and throw whatever malware they please to do so. The same way as it goes for the Xbox and the Switch. Luckily, that hasn't happened because they're paying attention to that. But there could be a potential hack dev that wants to screw around and take all that information that is being used by Xbox and Switch and use it against both companies. But you people don't use that logic. You rather be the social elitists with your noses up high and not use common sense and berate every tactics that all companies do. There is a purpose behind everything. And I'm pretty shocked that most of these gamers and supposed gamers did not use that logic at all for all their conversations. It surprises me a lot. That is the most important detail in this whole discussion, and everybody has overshadowed it due to the fact for just being a fucking fanboy. Now, why do I say this? Because it's common sense, man. My PSN account is connected to my email account and to many multiple accounts as well. And if I, if I choose to release that information to a company, I'm hoping that they're keeping it private so that nobody can go into my account and do anything with it. But you guys are so stuck up in the fanboy trend that you don't use that logic, that you don't use that common sense to think, you know what? Maybe Sony is not releasing these email addresses with the data progressions because they're afraid that somebody might try to hack into the system or take this information and use it for their own pleasure to do hacker mods into the games themselves. But you guys don't use that logic. You rather just be the senseless fanboys, especially you Xbots, the senseless fanboys, and run along with what everybody's saying and not looking beyond the point. It is sad that it had to take me this whole entire day to even acknowledge a simple fact that is so very apparent, and you guys are overshadowing it with just fanboy logic. It's really, really funny. I find it hilarious. And then you got these Twitter Xbot warriors just going rampant, talking so much bullshit about Sony and not using common sense. Hey, not saying it could happen, but just think about it. Use that common sense. It's data, it's information. Why would you want an open source breakthrough to informative details and use it? So kudos to Sony for doing that and holding their ground, because that is the perfect stance that you have to take in order to keep privacy as private for all those users. So kudos for Sony on that one. What really sucks is Microsoft Xbox 360 generation. They had all the power to actually agree with some terms with Sony and do the crossplay, but they never did. They turned it down. Now that Sony's not doing it, everybody wants to blame Sony for everything. You guys got to use common sense. It's business practices. if you're gonna use data to build an infrastructure, that's all private information. That is all private information, and it can be used by anybody. Microsoft could turn right around and give the middle finger to Sony, and guess what? Sony can't do nothing about it because they gave the information, and vice versa. So this whole crossplay fiasco that you guys are clamoring so much about is actually a good thing that they're doing these procedures, that they're actually thinking about the privacy of you as players and as citizens and individuals. Let that sink in for a minute. Let it sink for a minute, man, and use that common sense. Oh, man. But, as always, there's going to be a lot that's always going to think that whatever I'm saying right now sounds ridiculous. But in reality, it is not. Everything has an attachment to data. If that data is breached, then you're going to have problems. You're going to have viruses, you're going to have malwares, you're going to have Trojans, you're going to have spy worms, you're going to have a whole bunch of bad encrypted files within that data breach that is going to probably take them weeks or even months to clean out. So just think about that very intuitively. Don't use the fanboy logic. Use the common sense logic to acknowledge that at least something is being done to prevent these problems from arising from the get-go. Anyways, man, it's your boy Type R87. Little quick live stream, giving my 2 cents on everything with this whole fiasco and in gaming in general. Hey, gamer by choice, not by trend. Y'all have a blessed night, and I'll check y'all later. Peace.